Hey Taco Bytes! Welcome to another episode of Team Taco. I'm Jay.
I'm Steph.
And today we have something a little bit different for you today. We're going to do a story time.
Story time.
Story time with Jay.
And Steph.
Steph.
But this is spooky story
Spooky
time.
story time.
Today's stories are actually going to be hitting more on the cryptic oddities portion of Team Taco.
Not paranormal.
More paranormal. So today we're actually going to be telling you about some of our experiences at the Whaley House, located in Old Town San Diego. Now we're going to skip over the history part of Yankee Jim and the history of the
More
Whaleys.
of the common stuff.
Yes, we'll include links so you can go research it yourself if you want, but there's so many videos out there that you can watch that will tell you the history.
And there is a lot of history to it too.
Yes.
So we do encourage, go check it out. Go check out the Whaley House in person in Old Town San Diego. They do daily tours there. They're really interesting. They're not expensive at all. And they do them during the day and the night.
Yes. So we recommend visiting if you're able. If you're not able, check out some of the videos that you will find. But for now, let's jump into our spooky story time.
Ooh, look at that. Ooh.
Alright, so I guess I will start with one of my experiences. And that would involve when we walked into the dining room. When you take the tour, they take you into the courtroom first, then you go into the grocery store and into the dining room. So we decided to walk into the dining room. We always walk behind in our group. That's just
We stay to the back of the group.
Mostly because we've done the tour a lot of times, so we let new people see all the inexperience. So I'm standing there, and it was summertime, and I'm wearing capri pants. And I'm standing there in the doorway, and next thing I know, I feel something wet touch the back of my calf, right above my ankle, which was really weird because we weren't even anywhere where water was. There was nothing there, and it felt like
We were in the house.
Yeah, we were in the house, and there was no one behind me. It felt like the way a dog presses its nose against the back of your calf. So of course I didn't think anything of it. And when we actually left the tour that day and we went to the museum, we found out that there is a reported haunting of a little ghost dog terrier that people have seen running into the dining hall chasing a cat.
This is the terrier right here.
So this is actually a little plushie of one of the their dogs that they had called,
that the original Whaleys had.
The original Whaleys had, called Chubby. And you can actually see a picture of Chubby with the youngest Whaley. Was it Violet?
I think so. I think you're right. But what the youngest girl though?
Youngest girl. Puppy. That was her puppy. So of course I had to buy Chubby because possibly may have had experience with the little ghost dog in the dining room. That was my first experience. The other one involved, again, the dining room and both of us. In one of our other tours we took, we went in and we decided we're just going to stand against the back wall while they were around the dining room table. And we just went, let people go, and as our docent was talking and explaining about the history of the room, she pointed behind us and said, "How do you guys feel right there?" And I believe we felt fine.
Felt fine.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And she said that people who stand where we are standing have feelings of like seasickness, nauseated, motion sickness. And she said, look at the photo behind you. And behind us was a picture of a ship at sea. And she said most of the people who have stood there by that portrait get feelings of sickness. Yeah. We didn't feel anything. No. It was just weird that of all the places where we stand
We decided
right
to stand right there.
Because that's where we wanted to stand.
There's also a legend in that same dining room of a little girl. And apparently this little girl was one of the, I guess one of the youngest Whaleys that lived there. And the legend goes that for some reason she likes to play like hide and seek in the house. The spirit or whatever it might be, and would like to hide underneath the table in the dining room. And in the dining room, the way the docent told us was people would be standing around it, and they would just come and hide underneath and just grab the leg of somebody there. Just kind of just grab the leg, not in a menacing way, but just kind of like, I'm here, and to let go. And people would just be like, what the heck was that? Something just grabbed my leg. And then the docent would tell them, there's a legend of a little girl that would grab the legs of people.
Mostly women, wasn't
Mostly
it?
women.
Mostly women, or grab
Or
their
actually
hands.
the hand too. She did
Grab
say
the
the
hand.
hand too. Sometimes you'd just be standing there and someone would grab your hand. But mostly women.
Can I?
Sure.
The story that was told to us was one of the docents was saying on one of her other tours, she noticed one of the women from her group was missing. She went back and she saw the woman was under the table. And she asked her, what are you doing under the table? And she said, oh, I was playing with the little ghost girl. So some people have some pretty extreme experiences to be like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm under the
just
table playing with the ghost girl.
Peekaboo. Oh, could you imagine? Got your nose.
Of course, I always said that I'm going to put my feet up. I don't want them on the floor now.
And when they told us this about the ghost girl, I said, okay, interesting. So I went along, and at the end, what I wanted to do was at the end of the docent telling the stories of the dining room, what happened, and all the stories people have had, experience people have had, and what would go on in that dining room. Started leading everybody out on the other side. So I was just walking along, and as I walked, started taking a few steps back, wanted to make sure I was the last one in the room. I do that all the time in these kind of houses. All the time.
I need to put a leash on him.
And I want to be the last one out. So everybody exited. I was the only one in the room. Only one. Even the docent, everybody was gone. And I went, and I had with my camera phone, and I just went underneath the table, just like this, right here. Just went to the table and click. Didn't even know what I was shooting at. Just underneath the table, take a couple, click, click. Okay. Actually, I only was able to take one because I had to hurry up. But one picture, and then I said, okay, walked back. And I joined the rest of the group. And this is what I captured. Now, you tell me, does it not look like there's a woman's head? Right above the table, there's a woman's head. But if you look underneath the table, there's no body, no nothing, just a head and maybe, I don't know, shoulders or something. But it looks like a pale white face with a black either hat, shawl, hair, something. But just a head.
I thought it looked like a bonnet.
Or a bonnet.
That's
and
what
then
I thought.
someone with a bonnet on. But that's what I captured. That's the picture I captured. And there was nothing on that wall. Nothing there at all. No pictures. No nothing at all. It was a blank
just
wall.
a plain wall.
It was that wall and then the door to exit.
When we took the tour again, because we do like taking the tour, you learn a little bit different history every time. You spoke with the docent.
Yep.
And showed her the photo.
And I showed her the photo. And when I showed her the photo, her eyes got wide. Her eyes got wide and she was really surprised. Didn't she actually want to show someone else too?
I think she did.
She wants to show someone else. And she said she got wide because it wasn't something they told us on that tour about anybody that, that goes in that other than the little girl and the dog.
Yeah.
Now when I showed her, she said there's one thing I didn't say on the tour was there's a nurse that would look after the children in the house at the time. And her main rooms that which she worked in was the dining room, which we were in, and the bedroom right across the hall adjacent to it.
The guest bedroom.
The guest bedroom. That was, I guess, her room or something, right?
Yeah.
And she would mostly work in those rooms and work with the children. And they've had reports of this nurse popping up downstairs, sometimes upstairs, mostly downstairs in those two rooms. And that's what I might have captured.
But she didn't think it was Lady Whaley. She wasn't sure.
No. She said she was sure, not sure, but she didn't feel that it was Lady Whaley
because
the
the
other
hair
pictures.
wasn't her. She never
Right.
let her hair down.
Right.
And she felt that it looked
Right.
more like the nurse.
Yeah. But who knows?
And speaking of the guest room, down that hallway, you had another experience in that hallway.
So as you come around out of the haunted dining room, you come out of that doorway, and there's stairs going upstairs. All across the way would be the bedroom I was talking about. And then there's a hallway and it leads down the way to the front door. And you go to the bed, to that little bedroom, and right next to it is, I guess, like the family or entertainment room.
Yeah, kind of like it's like with your den and your living room
Yeah.
are combined.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
And those had two doors next to each other. So you had the bedroom and then two more doors right next to them. Those two doors were in the family room. And those had a velvet rope across, so you couldn't go in there because of all the items that were in there. And when we came down, again, I wanted to be the last one, so it was me, another gentleman, and a docent. I just wait for everybody to exit. And they were waiting in the hallway. And so as I came out, me and the other gentleman saw one of the velvet ropes violently moving in the door panel. It was just moving. And we looked at what the heck, and as we noticed it, you know how normally something stops or something's moving, it comes and slowly stops like this. Not this rope. This rope went like this and then stopped. Just stopped. Me and myself and this other fella that was there in the tour couldn't believe it. Our mouths dropped. We just looked at, oh my God, it just stopped. Nobody else saw it. And it happened so fast you couldn't even capture a picture. It just happened.
Meanwhile, I'm with the rest of the group taking the tour. And next thing you know, we hear this laughing, loud laughing coming behind. I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jay's not here. That's him hanging in the back by himself. So I look, and here comes Jay and this other gentleman laughing. And I just shoot him this dirty look like, quiet, the docent is talking, not knowing what he just saw. And I was a little jealous when he told me that. I didn't get to see that also.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see.
So for our final part on the experiences at the Whaley House, we went upstairs. And upstairs is where they say a lot of stuff happens, particularly in the theater room. Now,
They built themselves an actual theater with a stage.
Yeah.
You know, the actual performance kind of theater.
Thomas Whaley wanted
everything.
Yeah, I guess to as a maybe what was it, status, show his affluence, as how rich
To
he
show
was.
how rich and his status in the town. He had his own theater, had his own market down the street.
Oh yeah, he had
a grocery downstairs, and he had a courthouse right next to it.
Oh yeah,
The courthouse was attached to the house too.
So we went there, and on our very first tour that we went there, walked in, taking photos, and I decided to go sit in the back. There was a chair there. I wanted to sit in that spot. So while he was taking some photos, I went back there before everyone got there. I was like, I want this chair. I don't know why. I just wanted to sit there. So I just went and I sat down. And I'm getting comfortable, and then here comes Jay.
I got to her right. She was sitting down, and I asked her, "Can you move down? For some reason, I want to sit in this spot right here." And she didn't give any problems. Okay.
No, I was a little bump, and I'm like, whatever, it's a chair.
So she moved down, and I sat in that spot. For some reason, I wanted to sit there. I don't know why.
You were drawn.
I was drawn to it. Yeah, perfectly. I was drawn to this chair. So I did. I sat there. As everybody came in, docents started talking about stuff, the history of the theater, or what the plays he would put on for the town, and just the entertainment he would throw. And then she says, she looks at the chair that I'm in, is that she was looking, and how did she say it?
She started talking, and then she was like, and by the way, she points to us, she goes, I'm always curious who chooses to sit in that chair. And we were like, why? You know, looking at each other like, okay.
Oh, crud.
And you know what? The spot was the 3rd chair from the wall, near the back.
Close to the piano.
Yes. And she was like, I'm always curious because apparently that particular spot is where one of the supposed spirits of the house likes to be. That is his spot.
That's the spirit spot. That's where he always wants to sit.
So she said she's always curious about who sits there and why they sit there, you know. Or she says sometimes people avoid that spot. Of course, not this guy. I'm going to sit right where the spirit is.
I didn't know. I felt drawn to that seat, so I sat there.
I think it's because that day he was wearing a fedora instead of a ball cap. And what does she say about the spirit?
The spirit, whoever the spirit, do you think that spirit is? That gentleman always wore a fedora when he was alive. He would wear a fedora. Are you getting spooked?
I heard the door.
And that's what telling ghost stories does to Steph. She gets a little on edge.
Stop. So one of the other instances he had was also in the theater.
Same thing in the theater.
In one of the groups we were in, there was an elderly woman in our tour group. Nothing particularly like special or anything like, oh my gosh, something, whatever. You know, nothing. Just an older woman
Tourist.
that happened to be in our group.
Yeah.
Now that day I was playing with one of the ghost tools app, which is like entertainment purposes.
It's basically for entertainment.
Yeah, you know, I'm always just having fun with it. So I was using that app. And then we went into the theater.
And when we got into the theater, we just went to go sit down, and instantly something just drew me to this older woman there. And I told Steph, you know what, I'm gonna go sit behind this woman for some reason. I don't know why, I just feel I wanted to go sit behind her. I don't know if it was so much, I don't know what. I just felt drawn to sit near her for some reason. So I did. I went and I sat in the row next to her. She was in the very first row, very front. I just sat directly behind her in the second row.
So while we were sitting there and we're getting the history told to us, I'm using the app, and as always, have it on airplane mode. We're always just told put our phones on airplane mode, so I had mine and you had yours.
And that is very important too. If
Yes.
you're using any kind of ghost
tool app.
ghost tool app, to be if you want to get an even
More
more
accurate.
more accurate, put your phone on airplane mode. You should always have an airplane mode, because then there's no interference,
supposedly from other
internet, phone use, everything.
Because it basically shuts all that off.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be any interference.
As I'm using the app, the word hair comes up. And I didn't think anything of it, but almost immediately after that word comes up, the older woman in front of us starts going like this. And she has short hair, but she starts going like this, and then she turns to her daughter and says, I feel something tugging my hair. And so I showed him.
Yeah, and that was very interesting, because it was the same woman I felt compelled to sit behind. I don't know whether it be someone that's like barrier or what, or whatever it might be. I felt to be behind her for her sake. And I did. I listened to that in my head, whatever it might be.
We have our own beliefs in all this, as everyone does. And for ours, when it's like we feel something from our beliefs telling us to do something, we'll act on it.
We'll act on it if it's for the better of other people or ourselves.
So you just
And I did. And I went to sit behind her. And she just started brushing her hair. Nobody was touching her. Nobody. And then she, like Steph said to her daughter, I feel something touching my hair.
And after, I just remember right now, afterwards, when we went downstairs, you stayed behind her
I
with
did
your
say
hand
that.
up. And you said, I remember because you told me after, you said that you heard her in front of her saying she was feeling dizzy.
Yeah, that's right. Going
She
down the
was feeling
stairs.
dizzy going downstairs. And there have been instances where people
get
feel
dizzy going down the
the
stairs.
sensation of being pushed
Mm-hmm.
down the stairs.
Yeah. So I just made sure I was there in case she did collapse for whatever reason. I was there to catch her.
Been there. We've gone on maybe 5 tours, and sometimes nothing. Sometimes there's a lot of things that are just kind of like, okay, this is weird.
This is unusual.
Yeah, we're not saying it's haunted. We're not saying it's not haunted. Like,
In my personal experience, in my personal opinion, there's something there. It is active for whatever reason, I don't know, but there is something there.
I just feel like the whole thing with the app, like with the hair coming up, and then the lady saying she felt something tugging her hair. For me, that's just too many things falling in place for it to not be something paranormal, supernatural. But what it could be, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that is our stories for the Whaley House so far.
so far,
Yeah. We do have many, many other stories from Old Town San Diego because, again, these were like our old stomping grounds. We love to go to Old Town San Diego. We love to experience eat in Old Town San Diego. We will share some of those things with you once we get back there.
yeah, once we're able to go visit, we'll take you some of our favorite spots to go eat there.
And we will share some more. Let us know, actually, if you like this with the story time, if you enjoy it. We will share more adventures, more Team Taco adventures, more experiences that we had at Old Town San Diego. We had stuff at the Cosmopolitan Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
We've had experiences there. At the Mission over there, we've had experiences. At the old schoolhouse, we've had experiences. All around, there's so much that goes on in Old Town San Diego. If you ever have a chance to go down there, just the history of it alone is great.
Yeah. And the food.
And the food.
Gotta love those tacos down there.
So, hope you enjoyed it. We did.
I had a lot of fun.
And little Spooky. I'm going back to Little
got
Spooky.
spooked.
She got spooked this time. But thanks for joining us. I'm Jay.
I'm Steph.
And we will see you next time.